Christmas used to be predictable. Family noise, decorations everywhere, children racing around the living room. I was already planning the usual traditions when my mother called. Her tone was bright, almost theatrical, but the message landed like a punch. We don't have enough space this year. Your brother is bringing his family. She didn't pause for my reaction or ask about my kids. The call ended before I could even process it. My children watched me, waiting for confirmation that everything was fine. I couldn't lie. Their excitement vanished as quickly as the invitation that never arrived. That night, I stood in front of our decorated tree, realizing they hadn't removed us from a celebration. They had removed us from what I once considered home. My parents' house isn't modest. It's large enough for birthdays, reunions, and every holiday gathering we ever attended. Yet suddenly, there was no room for me or my children. My sister sent photos of custom name cards arranged around a fully prepared dining table. Every chair had a place, every plate matched, and everything was clearly planned well in advance. They reserved seats for distant relatives, neighbors who barely knew our history, and even a couple my parents met at church only weeks earlier. They weren't short on chairs. They were short on willingness. Space wasn't the real limitation. Priorities were. I realized I wasn't forgotten. I was deliberately omitted, and the people who should have defended me chose convenience instead of loyalty. Explaining adult decisions to children is one of life's cruelest tasks. They don't understand rivalry, favoritism, or the quiet hierarchies families build. All they know is whether they belong somewhere. My daughter approached me holding a handmade Christmas card and whispered, "Did we do something wrong?" Her words sliced deeper than any insult I'd ever received. I tried to reassure her, but my voice cracked. My son asked if Grandma stopped loving us. That question lingered in the air like smoke. I realized I wasn't only dealing with exclusion. I was watching my children confront rejection for the first time. That night, I sat beside them, pretending everything was temporary, while knowing the damage had already begun to take root. My brother didn't create the family hierarchy, but he benefited from it without hesitation. He was always presented as the blueprint of success: loud achievements, exaggerated compliments, endless praise. When he arrived, my parents shifted their entire energy toward him. They never asked why I wasn't invited, and he never questioned it. His silence was an endorsement. He didn't need to speak. Entitlement did the talking for him. Whenever he entered a room, conversations adjusted themselves around his presence, as though he were indispensable. Watching him bask in attention while my children and I were pushed aside forced me to see the truth. Some families don't pick favorites accidentally. They sculpt them. And once the pedestal is built, no one cares who is left standing outside. Christmas morning used to mean rushing to my parents' place before breakfast, carrying gifts and stories from the year. This time, the silence was suffocating. No calls, no texts, no acknowledgement we existed. My phone buzzed constantly, not from messages, but from social media notifications. Photos streamed in. My family gathered under the same golden lights, matching pajamas, wide smiles. Every picture felt curated to perfection, as if happiness were something they performed rather than lived. I studied the images, recognizing rooms filled with laughter I once helped create. The absence was no longer abstract. It was visual, public, and undeniable. For the first time, I understood what it meant to feel homeless while standing inside my own living room. The day after Christmas, a delivery truck stopped in front of my house. I thought perhaps someone had reconsidered. Instead, a cardboard box sat on my porch with my parents' handwriting printed by machine, not inked by hand. Inside were stale cookies wrapped in plastic and a pre-printed holiday card. No personal message. No reference to my children. The items looked like leftovers swept into a box at the last minute. It wasn't a gift. It was a reminder of our ranking. My kids asked if we were supposed to be happy. I didn't know how to answer. That package said everything my parents refused to. We weren't part of their celebration, only an obligation they barely remembered afterward. Sometimes, truth doesn't explode, it settles. I didn't confront anyone. I didn't demand explanations. I simply observed. Years of trying to earn affection suddenly felt unnecessary. Every overlooked effort, every dismissed gesture, every unbalanced sacrifice came into focus. I finally understood that love shouldn't require proof or performance. My absence that Christmas illuminated the fractures I had ignored for decades. I had been auditioning for acceptance in a family that never intended to cast me. The clarity wasn't sad, it was freeing. I stopped wondering what I did wrong and started questioning why I tolerated so little. Realizing I didn't lose something valuable was the first step in reclaiming myself from expectations I never agreed to carry. I didn't wait for apologies that might never come. I used the lesson to build something new. I sat down with my children and asked what traditions they wanted. We planned a celebration filled with laughter, board games, and recipes we could call ours. No comparisons. No invisible scorecards. No silent punishments disguised as family decisions. This time, we prepared gifts with intention and decorated every corner without fear of judgment. I realize families aren't always defined by blood, but by those who choose to show up. Next Christmas won't be about proving anything. It will be about creating a space where my children never doubt their place. The door that matters isn't theirs anymore. It's the one I will open myself.